Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to New Thought Tuesdays. Hey, Richard.
Hey, good morning. Good Tuesday morning.
So,
New Thought morning.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to those of you in Europe. So today, our overarching topic, our place of discussion today is really about navigating the difficult choices. So what we're saying is trust your creative intuition without overthinking, or how to gracefully make seemingly difficult choices, how to gracefully make seemingly difficult choices. So what we're talking about is based on a discussion we had on the inner circle with one of our members, and we were all discussing it, and they were presenting an opportunity that was brought up to them, and they had a difficult decision, a difficult choice that they had to make. And so even though the offering that they were offered was quite lucrative and wonderful, and it was a wonderful offer, there was a difficult quality to it. What kind of decision do I make? Now, the member had already made the decision, and their process was amazing. But so I'm not going to focus on the choice that they individually made. That's because it's not up to us about individual choices. But today we're going to talk about what to do when you're faced with a difficult decision. And in fact, what a difficult decision is from a spiritual standpoint. And how do we make those choices? And how do we take those challenges that may be confronting and confront them? Or do we confront them? So I think what we're asking is, how do we gracefully and confidently make choices? Even the difficult choices.
Yeah.
So that's the question. How do we gracefully and confidently make difficult choices? I asked the question. Now you can answer it, Rich.
Okay. Because, here's the thing. As creators in the entertainment business, we're constantly having to make choices in our career path. And then we're not sure if we should let go of one project to grab onto another opportunity that comes our way, because opportunities will come your way, but you have a vision, you have a dream, you have a desire to see your life unfold in a certain way, yet these other things keep coming up. Now, how do you make the choice? How do you make a choice that is going to serve you rather than be against you? I don't know how many times I've made choices, and then somewhere down the line, I'm going, oops, did I make the right choice here? So anyways, and it happens to all of us. It could be a filmmaker who's emotionally attached to their, project and finds that it's difficult to consider shelving it to write something more commercial, even if that commercial project doesn't excite them. They have to make a choice. Maybe they're broke and they're just not getting anywhere with the film that they're producing or getting off the ground. It could be an actor who's struggling to let go of their one-person show, and yet they fear that if they move in another direction, that they'll have regrets, and even they'll feel that they have failed at what they were, meant to accomplish. Or a writer who's attached to an original screenplay, and people give them recommendations, maybe producers say, look, we got to change this or change that. And yet they have a hard choice there. Do I give up my integrity, or do I continue with what I have as a dream and a vision, what I want to create? And so that's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about that too in the inner circle. We're going to talk about seeking guidance through intuition, affirming positive outcomes, and focusing on alignment, making choices that are in alignment with your higher core values and passions and desires. And these are the things that we got to look at. And so, Dean, you want to talk to them about the inner circle, explain what it's all about?
Oh, sure. Absolutely. Well, the inner circle is, after our opening remarks that Rich and I have on the topic, we all go into a private area. We've got people who are here on Zoom waiting for this inner circle discussion. We all go into this private discussion. So this portion is up on social media and it's recorded. But when we go into the private inner circle, we talk about how to implement the spiritual practices that we talk about in the opening remarks. And there's discussion between all of us. And the inner circle is really where the vibrancy where that collective co-creation comes for New Thought Tuesday. So we welcome you. And if you do want to become part of our inner circle, all you have to do is go to newthoughttuesdays.com and click on Yes, I Want to Be Reminded. We'll send you an email with the link to the Zoom experience, and you'll come and be part of it. And so we look forward to having you.
Yeah.
We also welcome the new members this week that have joined us. That is kind of cool. So that's the inner circle. And you know, Richard, you're talking about desires, and I really see them as those divine desires, those desires that are based and rooted in a spiritual journey. And that's sometimes you've got your divine desire, and then the universe brings you something. And that's what we're talking about. So sometimes it's like, well, I wasn't expecting this. How do I make this choice? It feels so difficult. And where we're focused on is the importance of making choices that are aligned with your inner calling.
Yeah.
This is where we get to look at your divine desires, your gifts and talents.
Yeah.
And the other side of the equation, perhaps some ego intention, some desire for control, some human condition that you've got layering in with your divine desires. And that's where we start percolating into that idea of difficultness, what starts to become difficult. But you know, that whole idea of, so you've got ego on the one side, you've got intuition, right, Richard?
Yeah. You know, we were talking earlier, Dean, too, when we were preparing for this, about the ego-based, and I was bringing up the point when I bought a sports car when I was younger, and I identified with my sports car. My sports car was me. I could identify myself as this cool guy driving around in a sports car, rather than what the sports car did for me as far as the joy of driving around in a little car and shifting gears and stuff like that. It's ego. It was ego-based. So we're going to talk today about ego-based choices versus choices guided by what I call infinite intelligence, God, divine presence. And how do you connect with that? How do you understand whether, is this my ego, or is this divine intervention, divine guidance? Is this thing that's coming my way, opportunity, is that divine, or is it just something to distract me, to take me away from my dream? Or what do you call the dream? You call it a
divine desire.
Divine desire. What do you explain that a little better? Divine desire as opposed to a dream.
Okay, well, I guess I move away from the word dream, not because I love the word dream. I think having dreams is an amazing thing. Even like the psychological type, you go to bed and you have dreams. I love dreams. I love the things like I've always dreamed about doing X, Y. I love that. It's very romantic to me. It's fabulous. The reason I bring it to divine desires is sometimes dreams are seen as kind of in the future. I want to someday. And the idea of divine desire brings the concept of divinity and the concept of a desire. You could call it a divine dream if you wanted, a divine want if you wanted, but I call it a divine desire because everybody knows Dean likes alliteration. So divine desire, that desire that is coming from your inner intuition, that desire that is coming from your sense of awareness, of mindfulness, of embracing infinity. That's what I think of as a divine desire.
Yeah. And how do you know when it's your divine desire or it's your ego that's in line, in control here, should I say?
Are you asking me? Do you want me to tell?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, let's talk about that. What is coming from spirit and what's coming from a fear-based ego, just wanting to keep the status quo, or just to satisfy everybody else, like the project you're working on. Are you doing this just to satisfy the masses, or are you doing this as an inner satisfaction because you're being called to it? And what is being called to it?
Well, but
That's
also
kind of,
recognizing that satisfying the masses can be an inner calling. The only problem with satisfying the masses is if it's not your inner calling.
yeah,
It's like satisfying the masses. Great. If that's your inner calling, go for it. The idea of the ego versus that intuition, I equate it. There's with the ego, I don't know. Have you ever whitewater river raft, Rich?
no,
No.
no,
Okay. Well, I did a
help
bunch
me out.
of years ago, and when you're gliding down the stream and all is in alignment, and it's like, okay, that to me is divine desire. When you're bumping up against the shore, there's a hole in your boat, things are rocky. To me, that's when ego gets involved. There's something rough and vibrating about ego. Brings in desire for control, fear, doubt, and worry, human elements, domination. I want this as opposed for me, as opposed to you having something for you. And my wants are a priority. I have a checklist. That's where I see ego is coming in. So intuition, much more spiritually mindful, aware, smooth, even though it can be quite a journey. Ego, much more humanly aware, much more power, force versus energy. That's how I see them.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, how do you know whether this is coming from your ego or your intuition or divine guidance? I ask for signs, because if I ask for signs and then follow the signs and things don't seem to work out, then other things will show up that will support you in creating the life you desire to be living as a creative in the entertainment business. And so, it's kind of like, I believe that if you're on the right path and this is definitely divine and it's coming through you, through that divine connection you have with infinite intelligence, then you'll start to move in a certain direction. And if things don't seem to be working in that direction, then you're probably moving in the wrong direction, because the universe will support you in whatever you're doing, whatever that choice is that you're making, as long as you follow through with faith and it's something that you divinely desire. It's something that you really, really want to have, and it's coming through, as who I am. It's an expression of myself. Then infinite intelligence always has your back. And so if you make one choice and you're even in alignment with your highest good and the highest good of everybody that's involved and that it serves, then you're going to be successful at it. If you move in a different direction and you don't take that path, you move in another direction and you move forward with faith, believing in yourself, believing in your project, believing that you have the ability to do it, believing that you even deserve to do it, then that's going to work out too. So either way, it's going to work out. It's what you want. Does that make sense?
Makes sense to me. I think we do need to open up the idea that you can have plenty of ego-oriented success. Success, you can get, you can push through and determine and make and happen, you control it. Plenty of people have done it, certainly in Hollywood.
Yeah.
So it's not like, well, you have to have this in order to have success. What we're talking about, there's a sense in the basics of both the infinite filmmaker and living in concert with life. We come together here at New Thought Tuesdays, that this is for our highest and best good and for the highest and best good of those around us. That's our basic premise. So we're redefining our positions in the creative arts by embracing our spiritual groundedness to help us have embrace these changes gracefully and follow our internal signs gracefully. So this is where there's that sense of difficulty has to do with when we have a sense of disconnection, a sense of separation from our higher calling. When we have that separation, that's when the decisions become difficult. And it's important. It's important to embrace and find those and collect those signs, if you will. You talk about signs to be aware around you and align with those signs with a sense of joy and curiosity, rather than this sense of fear, doubt, and worry, apprehension. So we're here. We believe, both Rich and I believe, Science of Mind believes, the universe is here to support that which you determine you want.
Yeah.
You want to be burdened and laden, or joyful and uplifted. It's okay. Universe is like, you can have whatever you want, just mindfully choose it. So it becomes a matter of balancing fear and joy in your decision-making process, that human and that spiritual.
Yeah. Yeah. Does it bring me joy? Does it bring me comfort? Does it make me, or does it bring me anxiety and frustration? Because I don't believe that we're meant to experience this. I mean, living in, let's say, the kingdom of heaven within, okay? Living in that mindset and that energy of everything in my life is flowing. Have you ever been like to a point where everything seemed to be working in perfect order? Your life was unfolding, things were coming your way, and that's all part of your energy. And so to me, that's the nirvana. That's living in the kingdom of heaven within. That's living with you when you have a deep connection to the infinite creator of your life, and everything is flowing and you're feeling good and you have faith and you're moving forward and everything's aligning for your highest good. And then all of a sudden you find yourself outside of that. We're struggling and things aren't working out. So Dean, I guess my question is, and this happens to me, it's when I'm out of alignment with infinite intelligence, when I don't meditate as much as I not should, but as much as I usually, no, but as much, there shouldn't be any shoulds, I guess. But as much as I usually do, when I'm meditating and I'm praying affirmatively and I'm doing New Thought Tuesdays and growing in spirit, things just seem to unfold in perfect order in my life. And yet when I fall away from a lot of that and I get into the carnal mind, the mortal mind that says, I got to be doing this, I should be doing this, I got to do this. Dean gave me something that, and we should talk about this, which is really cool. What do you call that in music when you stop? A pause?
Yes, that whole grand pause. It's an exercise where you go once a month at least, 3 to 4 hours in solitude, no electronics, no work. All of it is contemplation, no sleeping. I play music. That's where I do have my device to play music. But to contemplate that which you have a divine desire for. Now, you can also use it in your business to just simply contemplate your business and how it's unfolding. Doesn't have to all be, spirit related, spiritual content related. It can be business related. So that's what I like to recommend, and I do it, and it changes my life.
Yeah. And when he mentioned that to me, that was like prayer answered, because I've been struggling. I've been outside of the vortex, shall we say. I have been not connected to spirit for a little while here, and confused and I need changes in my life. This isn't working out. That's not working out. And I went on and on and on. But when Dean said this about that pause, I ended up, my wife was busy over the weekend, so I took our travel van and I just went up north and I visited a couple of beach towns and just hung out and didn't work. And it was great. It was a great pause. And so I get what you mean by doing that. And I highly recommend you do that, even if it's only for stopping what you're doing for like 5-10 minutes every hour of the day and just pause.
It's a mindfulness it's a mindfulness exercise. And the length of time, yes, absolutely, 5-10 minutes, an hour, 5-10 minutes a day. The real great thing is you stick it on your calendar and it's like, okay, 3 to 4 hours is a commitment to your inner mindfulness. It's unlike meditation, which certainly some people can meditate for 3 to 4 hours. You can walk. I walk in nature. I can walk around the house. I just am contemplating with music. I don't engage with anyone. But, Richard, as it is, I think, time to go into the inner circle.
Yeah. And so we ask that you join us by going to newthoughttuesdays.com and signing up for a reminder, and we'll send you the link so that you can come in and join us, because we're going to talk about stuff like this, like the grand pause and other practices that you can do to keep you in alignment with spirit, to keep you in alignment with your highest good, and to keep you in alignment with your, what is it? Not your dream,
your divine desire.
Divine desire. I love that. We're going to talk more about that in the inner circle too. I love that. Divine desire. So what is your divine desire? Come on in and let's talk about it.
We'll see you in the inner circle. So in order to get there, for those of you that did not hear in the beginning, go to newthoughttuesdays.com, click on I want to be reminded, give us your first name and your email address. We will send you the link and you can join the fun. So
okay.
Off we go. Turn off the recordings, Richard, and we'll go into the inner circle.
Okay.